So I recently heard a phrase that sat with me, and it was an interesting thing for me to think about in my own life, and I want to share it with you, and I want to share my thoughts on it with you and relate it to how I go about my business in my own life personally. It's you have to enter a room thinking that every guy wants to be you and every girl wants to be with you. It's that delusional level of self-confidence, and it's something interesting because obviously I think of that as pride, right? I think of that from the Christian perspective, from the godly perspective. It's like I think sometimes that can be a destructive thing, of course, because you think of yourself so highly, and of course that toils your relationship with God. It ruins it a little bit, and and it kind of makes you think of yourself, and it makes it lead to like arrogance, and you could be cocky and brash and braggadocious about yourself and all those kinds of things. But I actually am now starting to think that maybe it is good to have a little bit of that. Like, I think I need a little bit more of that. And I think it is not a necessarily bad thing to just have a bit of that. You don't want that to be entirely who you are, because that can lead to a lot of negative things. But what it has made me think about is about maybe some of the truer nature of pride as a sin, and how God wants you to behave. So I think personally, there's a really big difference between confidence and hubris, which is another word for like that negative pride. And there's a very very big difference. And maybe it's something that I haven't talked about as much on the show. I've talked about pride and how it's bad and how you should not be so overly confident in yourself. But actually, confidence is a good thing, and it's in there, and they are two different things. I think the main difference is positive versus negative energy. Basically, I think that's the main difference between the two. Confidence is the positive energy, where it's like you're using that as fuel to drive yourself forward. You're confident in yourself, your own abilities. That is a way, it's a vehicle for you to push through certain fears and certain things that might be in your head, because you're confident in yourself. Maybe it's because you have proven things, and maybe like you've proven that you're able to do something efficiently and effectively, so you're confident in your ability to do it. Or or you just have that, like, it's just you're born with this delusional level of self-confidence where you don't need to be realistic about things, but it just allows you to just go and get stuff done and pursue that extraordinary life pursuit and the pursuit of excellence and all that kind of stuff without really having any fear of failure or not really thinking about any flaws. That's like the positive energy that that level of confidence gives you. Whereas that pride, when you talk about it from a biblical stance, from a godly stance, pride is the negative. It is the arrogance, right? It is the brashness. It is the jealousy of other people, or the hating on other people, putting people down because you think of yourself as so much better. You become like a bossy type of person because you know what's best, right? You think of yourself as high like that, where you know what is best. Sometimes it gets as bad as a god complex. You think that the world revolves around you, and you're cocky to people, you talk trash wherever the circumstance may be. So that's something that doesn't necessarily actually, it doesn't help you. But I think maybe I have to do a better job at differentiating between what confidence is and what just pure pride, negative pride is. And I think that is the way you do it as a framework. The confidence is like, it's all the positive energies that can actually help you live a greater life, and actually go and achieve and pursue many things without any fear, versus that pride where it becomes arrogance and hate and things that lead you down a negative path. And for me, I look at myself and I'm like, you know what? I need to have a little bit of that delusional level of self confidence. Honestly, I need to have a little bit of it. Maybe not have it be everything, because sometimes it can lead you down, it can lead towards that negativity. But I definitely need a bit of it, because sometimes I find that I'm a little bit fearful in things. Sometimes I find that I maybe am a little bit reserved in how I act and in the things I say, and diplomatic in the things I say at times, especially when I'm like, I think about my past experiences in work environments and coaching environments and football environments, my past experiences. There are definitely moments and things that I could have done better, and I want to be that type of person that can be a little bit more outgoing. Like, I don't want to be introverted. I really don't. I find that I'm like I'm an ambivert, really, like in the truest sense of the word. Like, sometimes I'm just super in my shell and I don't want to do things, and sometimes I'm actually able to just get out a little bit and get stuff done and be out there, right? I want to kind of lean more into the extroverted side because I think we live in a world where it's very easy to be introverted because it's very easy to be isolated. And I don't want to have a part in that in myself, in my own life, but sometimes I see that in myself. So I think I really do think about having that delusional level of self-confidence. And I think if that is a positive thing, it not only allows me to get out there more in my own personal pursuits, to not have any fears, to truly not care about anyone else's opinions, to actually be there and be extroverted and truly enjoy a lot more beautiful things of this life, have greater stories to tell. I think I have some good stories to tell, but I'd like to have just a little bit more. So that's like a personal thing that I'm trying to work on. But at the same time, how do you achieve a goal in your life? You ask yourself this question, and as I'm thinking about this thing, sorry, I stuttered a lot there, my bad. As I'm thinking about this idea, I think about how do you actually go and achieve a goal? Like, how do you achieve a big pursuit? How do you actually achieve an extraordinary thing in your life? The pursuit of excellence, which is kind of what I've been trying to go on in my life, doing those kind of difficult things that I don't want to do, those difficult things that a lot of people wouldn't go out and do, and that's what I've been trying to do in my life. I talked about it a little bit on the podcast episode I did with Iman, which was the 300th episode special. It was a super good episode. I recommend you go watch it. I'll leave it in the cards. I'll leave it in the description as I always do in every video. You can go and check it out when you're done watching this one if you haven't done so yet, because it was a very good episode, and of course many other great episodes I've made on the show. But on that one, I was talking about how my life, I want it to be down to pursuit of excellence and that extraordinary pursuit, doing things that are above average, basically. And I think you think about it and it's like, well, yeah, you have to have that level of delusion. You have to have that confidence because I find that I'm too realistic sometimes. If you're realistic about things, that's the whole point of the dream. If you're realistic, you will realize just how hard it is, just how great the odds are stacked against you. And it might dissuade you from actually going out and pursuing it and giving your full 100% effort towards it. But I am the first person that will say, go out there and pursue your dreams. Go out there and pursue that extraordinary thing, that difficult thing, that improbable goal that you have. Because it will teach you many great lessons even if you don't achieve it. And if you do achieve it, it'll be the greatest thing and it'll be the greatest gift. And you'll be able to rejoice in that fact that you managed to make it happen. But how do you get there if you're just constantly thinking about the realistic perspective? If you're constantly thinking about, oh, it's like, what if this goes wrong? Like, this can go wrong. It will lead you into a bad direction. So you actually do need to have a level of delusion where you're like, you don't really care about the realistic perspective. You just think about, okay, I'm pursuing this dream. We're going to do this. We're going to put our full effort to this, and we're not going to think too much about it. And that's that level of delusional confidence and the level of self-belief that you can believe that you can go and achieve it, and that confidence in God that He has a plan for you to go and achieve it. It makes me ask myself this question. It's like, well, how else do you go and achieve a dream like some of the things that I've been doing in my life, like some of the goals that I've been pursuing, and like some of the goals that many people pursue, other than you have to have a level of delusional self-confidence? I think you absolutely have to. Like, that's given me that perspective, and it's made that answer super clear to me that you have to have a level of delusion to it when you're pursuing a goal and a dream, and I think that's a good thing. It's a positive thing. So long as that confidence is directed into a positive perspective, then I think it's good. I think it doesn't mean the same thing as that pride that I think about a lot, that I'm trying not to be so egotistical and arrogant about things. But at the same time, you think about what it means and how it looks like to go and achieve a dream, how it looks like to achieve the extraordinary in this life. It is confidence. It is that level of delusion. So when I think about that exact phrase that I started this episode with, walking into rooms and entering rooms, thinking that every guy wants to be like you and every girl wants to be with you, it's funny. It is a very funny statement because you can kind of tell that certain people, they actually genuinely think that. And again, you have to be careful to not let it bleed into the negative, because then you're falling into something that can be destructive. But as long as it is giving you a positive fuel source and rocket fuel energy to propel you into that direction of achieving the extraordinary in this life, that level of confidence is a good thing. It is a good thing. And for me, I need to maybe learn to stop being so serious about things. And that's that's another personal thing that I have to work on. There are many things I have to work on, of course. I can go on and on and on about the things that I fall short in when it comes to my belief in God, when it comes to my faith, and when it comes to just the way I want to live my life, but fail to actually go and do. I fall short when it comes to being serious. Sometimes I need to just learn to let go and learn to not take something so serious. It's like if I'm going to pursue something, and if I just have that moment where I just go and I'm not thinking and I just go and I have that confidence and I go and make it happen, right? Whatever it may be, whether it be in business, whether it be working a job, whether it be in school, whether it be in football, whether it be in absolutely anything else in my life, I need to not be so serious, and I need to realize what God is talking about when he talks about pride, and when he talks about these negative feelings, is when you put yourself above God, and it leads into negative feelings and emotions. But confidence is not putting yourself above God. It's knowing that God is the foundation, is your faith is number one, but that you need to do better and you have a part to play. It's essentially that simple. And that confidence can allow you to move forward, to live a great life, to pursue things that are truly greater than just the mundane misery that is a lot of people's lives, just doing the same thing every day, actually experiencing new things, having some unique experiences in your life. And I'm privileged enough to be in this position to say that I've had some good, unique experiences in my life so far. I'm trying to get some new ones, right? I'm trying to go and achieve new things, especially because the whole football journey, we don't know really where it's going to go. To be honest with you, I have no idea where it's going to go. I'm going to be real. But this whole football journey thing, it's it's been something that's given me good experiences, but I feel like I still look back on it. It's like if I had this level of that delusion a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a sprinkle more. Like you're just sprinkling the salt on basically the steak, and I guess the steak is my personality and who I am, and the salt is the seasoning, the flavor, that extra confidence. I need that in my life, so I'm trying to work on building that, and I build that, and the way you build that, if you need to know, obviously it's already touched upon a little bit, right? You build that by proving to yourself that you can overcome adversity, proving to yourself that you have the skills to do this thing, right? So if it's in sports, you prove to yourself that you're actually good at the sport, right? If it's in business, you prove to yourself that you can run the business. It's in sales, you prove to yourself that you can make sales. By the only way you can do that is by actually getting skin in the game and actually getting experience, failing. But that's where confidence comes in, because confidence is like you have faith that even if you fail, you'll come out the other side and learn great lessons from it, and use them to eventually get to the point where you'll succeed. So that level of confidence can be attributed to faith, right? I talk so much about faith versus fear on this show. I talk about how fear is hindering, how fear is negative, but how faith is positive. Similarly, but it is distinctly different. Having a self-confidence is a very important thing. It's a very important thing. And if it is directed to the positive energies, it can be that fuel source. It can be that fuel source to allow you to move forward, to pursue many amazing things. And and you build it by just going, getting skin in the game, taking action, stepping outside of your comfort zone, and you're slowly going to increase the level of how big your comfort zone is. You start to become comfortable and confident in situations that maybe a year ago, maybe even a few months ago, you wouldn't have been confident in, because you actually took action towards doing better. And it is also just a mindset. It is also just in your mind. You know that if you kind of maybe are too serious about things, it that might also inevitably and unintentionally lead to your own demise as well. It may lead to your own misery as well. So sometimes you do need to let loose. Sometimes you do need to have that delusion. Sometimes you need to not think so much about things and just let life take you by storm, and let life kind of do what it must to you so that you can learn those lessons. I think also an important thing is that you need to know when you need to think and reflect and be introspective and be serious about things and give it up to God with things. And you need to know when you can let loose. Because if you're only in that one place, it can sometimes lead you down some negative pathways. And I found that for me, my faith is strong. I believe in God, and it's a beautiful thing, but I need to not let it turn into something negative. I need to let it fuel the good rather than look at it from the bad perspective. Right? Because you can look at it from the perspective, you can look at it from the perspective of oh, this world means nothing, so you ought to do nothing in this life, so that you're preparing yourself for the life to come. That's a way you can do it, but this life is an important life. You're here for a reason, and I think that is more true than that other perspective. So, so when it comes to faith, when it comes to confidence, always, always, always lean into the positive perspective of it, which is the most beautiful thing. It can be the fuel, the fire, and the source of strength for you to achieve great things in this life, and of course, at the same time, to prepare yourself for the life to come. Like, I've been learning that it truly is possible to have both. Like, it is not just, oh, the rich are damned forever. It is possible to have both, but you need to kind of find that balance. You need to know when to think, you need to know when to be serious, but at the same time, you need to know when to let loose. You need to know when to be a little bit delusional, when to have just a level of delusional self-confidence. You definitely need a sprinkle of that in your life if you want to achieve anything in this life. If you have a big goal that you need that level of delusional self-confidence. And I think that is a truth that I have been kind of, it's an idea I've been playing with. It's a truth that I've been trying to learn just in real time, to be honest with you, in my life. And it's something that I'm still working on. But as I think about these things, I think about how true it is that it is truly about positive and negative energy. And it is, and if you're doing negative energy, it's feeding into what the devil wants. It's feeding into losing your faith. It's feeding into breaking your faith. It's feeding into keeping yourself exactly where you are, staying stagnant, staying miserable. That's what the devil wants. But if anything that you do, you put it into a positive perspective, that's what God wants. That's what God wants you to do, because it will grant you strength. It will grant you confidence. It will grant you courage. It will grant you love, joy, peace, and fearlessness in your days. And that will allow you to truly go out there and pursue that extraordinary, pursue excellence, and actually achieve whatever it may be. Again, if it is in sports, if it is in business, if it's in arts or in school or in medicine or in whatever, right? Whatever your craft is, whatever the thing you want to go and achieve, you need to have that confidence in yourself, in your God, first and foremost. Always remember that your God is number one, but always have confidence in yourself, because that's not nothing. That's not something that you should just dismiss as pride, right? Be careful, because confidence is a good tool, but also, pride can also be the downfall of many men, and you've seen it, of course. So you need to know whenever basically, I think this is the framework, and this is how I'll end this episode, and this is the framework that I'm trying to get across, the message I'm trying to get across. If any feeling or any emotion you have leads to positive outcomes, positive desires, positive pursuits, then that's a good thing that you should cherish. You shouldn't try to destroy it. You should try and water the plant even more, and lean into that even more. But if the feeling you have leads to negative things, negative interactions, feelings of hate, feelings of anger, feelings of arrogance and hatred towards everyone, feelings of envy, then that's not a feeling that is good. And I think you should try, those are the things where you should sit there, be serious about them, and try to remove them from your life and try to do better in those aspects. I think that is the way it works, and in all things in your life, if it leads to positive outcomes, it's good. And I think that's what God wants from you. But if it leads to negative outcomes, it's something that God instructs you against. He instructs you against these exact tendencies and these exact sins, because the sins at the end of the day, you partake in them. Maybe they're pleasures in the moment, but they do harm you in the long run. But if you're doing things that like self-confidence, that is moving into a positive direction, I think that is a good thing that you should absolutely lean into, rather than trying to overthink it and remove it from you. I think it's a very positive thing. If you are blessed as a person who is extroverted, who is out there, who is just so good at talking to people and having many great conversations with people, I think that's a blessing. Unfortunately, I'm not really blessed with that, and I have to work on that, and I have to be more intentional with working on that. But that can be your fuel source, truly, to achieving many amazing things. That level, that sprinkle of delusional self-confidence. So when you enter a room and you think, oh, every guy in here wants to be like me and every girl wants to be with me, you need to be careful with that. But at the same time, you need a little bit of that. You definitely need a little bit of that if you're going to achieve anything in this life. That's what I've been realizing. And that statement in and of itself, it comes sometimes from that arrogant side. But remember, if it's always being put towards the positive energy, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. You can judge that the way that you want. You can read the Bible, you can read the Holy Word, and and judge what God actually wants from you. But I honestly think that if it is a positive energy, if it is a positive pursuit, if it's leading you to feeling more joy and love and peace in your days by being confident, then you should absolutely lean into it. You should not be overthinking it. So that's really the message for today. That level of delusional self-confidence, you should really try and have a sprinkle of that. And I think it is really important. So I'm working on it myself, and that's why I talk about these things, because I'm working on it myself, and I see where I fall short, and I see where I need to do better as well in my life. So hopefully me talking about it, kind of unpacking the ideas that I'm having in my mind can help me move forward, and it can be a good message to help you move forward, take some actions to changing yourself and improving in your life as well, to truly pursuing that extraordinary and living as good of a life as you possibly can. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. That is all I got to say for today. As always, show your support on the show in any way you can by leaving a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribing to the show on YouTube if you haven't yet, and following the show on Spotify, watching on Spotify if you prefer to listen to episodes rather than watch them. Spotify is a good place to do that. I upload them all on Spotify as well. So you can go follow it there. I leave it in the description of every YouTube podcast as well. So I ask that you also go and watch some of the other great videos I've made on the show. I leave them in the cards. I leave them in the description. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Show your support in any way you can. Even being here and watching to this point, hopefully that this message sits with you in some way, that this message is something that actually speaks to you, and that you can take some action and make some changes to improving yourself in your life as well. That's pretty much been a main theme on the show, helping you, giving you some strategies, some ideas that may help you, the viewer, the audience member, improve in your life and grow stronger in faith and in your belief in God. So that is all I got to say for today. Thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode.